As we approach MPT's HBCU week, we're joined by Dr. Wayne Frederick, the president of Howard University. Dr. Frederick, thank you for being with us. And let me begin with the news that you have announced plans to retire from the presidency.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I certainly have. Next year will be a decade that I would have served in this role. And it's been an incredible decade of growth and moving my alma mater forward. And I think the next step in that journey is to help conduct a very smooth transition.
You mentioned it's your alma mater 3 times over, though, right?
Yeah, that's right. I like to say I did the remedial program. So I got a combined BSMD program at Howard. I did 2 years undergrad and then 4 years medical school. So my CV always reads a little confusing because I got my BS degree 2 years before my MD, and then I got my MBA much later on as a faculty member.
Never stop learning, right?
That's right. That's right. I've been threatening the folks in the law school to come over there and spend some time with them.
Well, when you started, I guess, as interim president about 9 years ago, what would you say have been the big milestones in that period?
I think that's a great question. You look at 2013, we were 5 years from the beginning of the Great Recession. We had a President Obama in office looking at scorecards for institutions. And we had an institution with a hospital that was in great difficulty, losing over $60 million a year. I think when you look at where we were then to today, our graduation rate is up well over 25%, 4-year rate. You look at our financial situation, I would say it's not just stability, but we're thriving. Last year, we had a bottom line of 200 million plus on a revenue base of just over $1 billion. That's about a 20% contribution margin or so. And we have a similar situation, this year. Our fundraising was meager at best at $3 to $8 million a year. And now we're in the $175 million range. So it's night and day in terms of, what we've been able to do. And I think more importantly, when you look forward, we have significant investments to redo the physical plant of the campus. Some $785 million worth of renovations and a hospital that would probably be in the range of 650 to 700 million. So you're talking about $1.5 billion worth of physical plant improvements that will occur probably over the next 4 years.
You're the only HBCU in our region that operates a hospital, a medical center. Tell me how that fits into the broader mission of the institution.
Yeah, extremely critical. Howard was founded as the only federally chartered HBCU on March 2nd, 1867. A year later, we would start a medical school with 2 Black faculty members on it. Very, very ambitious. But as a result, we've now produced more African-American physicians than any single institution in the country. And we send more African-Americans to medical schools. So when you look at what happened in the pandemic and the significant disparities in our healthcare system that I would say, brought to bear, you recognize that the role that Howard University plays is an absolutely critical role today. And so we are planning to actually double down on that experience. We believe that we must now probably double our med school class. We have the 5th most selective med school in the country now, getting about 9,500 applications and only enrolling a class of 126. So we are playing a very critical role in the American healthcare system.
You have one especially famous Howard graduate living across town there in DC in the vice president's mansion. How much of a boost has that been on campus and maybe when it comes to the admissions process?
Yeah, I'll start first personally. She sat on the search committee that appointed me. So she's become a very dear friend. And, I certainly admire her work ethic, her intelligence, and she's been a great advisor. Certainly on campus, I think it's a source of pride. You think back to March 2nd, 1867, the 17th president, President Johnson, signed the charter to start Howard. He was a known misogynist and a known racist, would be the first US president to be impeached. And he signed a charter to start an institution that gave rise to the first Black female vice presidents. I think that says a lot about our democracy and our history as an institution. And I think in terms of admissions, We certainly have seen a rise in admissions over the past 2 to 3 years. And, without a doubt, VP Harris has had a lot to do with that. But I hasten to also point out that the consumers have been very, very discerning, and they've been looking at our results, our outcomes, our offerings. And I think that that has also been a point of attraction.
Broadly speaking, what the past few years have been like for HBCUs in general, and what the future should be, in your opinion.
The past few years, I think, have really underscored why these institutions are essential. The DNA at Howard is social justice, and I look at our HBCUs and what they've been through and what they provide in terms of diversifying the workforce, representing Black excellence has been critical. As we go forward, though, as a country, we're only going to be as strong as our weakest link. And I think when we look at our history as a country and where we've really, I would say, stepped on or disregarded the humanity of a segment of our society, we now have an opportunity as a nation, I think, and definitely our HBCUs have to play a part to amplify the humanity of all American citizens. And I think that that's a very, very grave responsibility for all of us, but particularly for HBCUs to do it, for African Americans in particular, who may not have had the opportunity for generational wealth, et cetera. And I think we have an opportunity to change that course and that direction with our HBCUs.
Dr. Wayne Frederick, president of Howard University. Sir, thank you for the time.
Thanks for having me.